Oliver in the background. Any comments on that session? Insights, questions, your own personal experiences, insights. Where are you?
Hi, Sensei. Bob here.
Hey, Bob.
I thought it broke a little bit new ground about what the words in the Japanese characters Aikido actually mean.
I thought, that's why I wanted to get back to it. Inherent in that word, if you can feel it out right, it's kind of virtually laying everything out. I mean, there's a lot of odds and ends we have to do in there, but yeah, it's a good to really get into the word. It's a lot there. I really like it. You want to add to that?
Well, specifically when we got into the implications in the key part of Aikido about fire, water, and then steam. A lot of people look at fire, water, but not so many people look at the steam.
Yeah. Or whatever, and the core energy of things. So the different forms we could play with it or talk about it, but it's basically that balanced harmony, and then the development because of that balanced harmony. If Bobby gets balanced, click, I call it a doorway. There's a doorway to a little finer opening. Potentially a Nado is being mixed up. My word, mixed up there. Nado is there. So the harmony and that acknowledgement of what goes on with the steam or through the doorway, the next level of character or whatever. So there's a lot of ways to talk about it, but basically based on the harmony balance. And at a good enough level where you've got some of the main pieces experientially, we could say you're on the path. Okay. Experientially. If you've been experiencing these things, we could say Aikido, the path. This can lead you to the path, and the path is an experiential thing. We lose some people there because they learn a word about the path. The Golden Bridge. Oh, yeah, the Golden Bridge. But this is all should be experiential. The pathway, the highway, should be an experience sense of this development. Okay. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Hi there. Anybody got anything? What you been up to?
Sensei, this is Justin. From last time, I appreciated the aspect of fire, water, steam that you guys had brought up in the sense of the steam being a cleansing agent, like in the way of a misogi, that the lens or filter of our characters can be cleaned experientially from one level or dimension to another.
Yeah, just as long as people don't get stuck with, oh, steam, I'm taking a shower. Now I, Bobby, or I, Robert, or wherever, oh, I'm cleaner and I feel a bit better. Yes. But I like that doorway sense of you're at an important place here. You can enjoy this. You can enjoy being clean. But eventually, you have to realize it's my words, a doorway to the next. And the next in harmony, whatever. Let's say we're still using fire, water, steam there. That steam, enjoy the hell out of it, okay? But it's a doorway. Let's not forget that part, okay? And some people get caught up because the balance is so nice to them. Let's say you've been nervous all your life, and suddenly you learn to sit and breathe or whatever, and it's calm. Oh my God, can you imagine for a person that's been nervous for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, suddenly actually experiencing calmness? They ain't going to want to move. Well, I can appreciate, yes, they should enjoy it. But also eventually, unless calmness is your end goal and that's it. That's okay too. If I call that level of comfortableness. If that's your level of comfortableness, you don't want to go any further. It becomes a doorway to the next level. Ta-da, ta-da. Okay. So a lot of people right there, for example, might be afraid to move into the next level because they think, or in a certain way, they may have a sense that they're losing the calmness. Not really. You're going to move into a finer dimension, and it could be a finer level of calmness and have a different name for itself. Anyway, there's little fears and doubts and whatever that keep people from moving along, unfortunately. But moving along is something you have to have the drive for, the pull for, the deeper calling for. Okay. I have a quite a strong pull. I can't not do this work. I can't not process. I just can't. But that's me. You have to make your own calls and be true to thine own self, my children. Peace be unto you. How you doing out there? You're waiting for me to say something intelligent? I'm not ready yet. Come on. Oh, are you in California? You said
Yes.
something, but yeah, that's
Yes, I
California.
am. We've been in the Sequoia Forest for a couple of days, but I am making my way slowly back toward the Bay Area for this weekend.
You better bring me coffee.
And a scone, count on it.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Good memory. Yes, yes. Yeah, without coffee and a scone and maybe a cigarette or two on the side, I'll take care of that part. I can't talk. I don't talk. Steve, what are you up to?
Let me unmute. I've been working with the relationship with self and character.
Let me interject. Steve and I had a little conversation. I really want to go over that, I don't know what, deeper, more detail, their relationship. So we've talked about everything is related to everything. Everything is buddies with everything else. But certain ones have an affinity for another one, maybe a little sooner, a little clearer. So the character-self relationship is a big time important one that a lot of beings haven't caught on to. And it's very confusing. Later, as you pass over and continue, you could be very confused not having this sense of this relationship. We'll get into that wording another day. So are you okay with that so far?
Yeah, it's what can I tell you? It's a very nice place to, or a nice way to travel, so to speak, being lined up as character in whatever circumstance that may be, and also being tuned into self as a you might say a guiding force, as I've opened and I've worked with core energy and an energy field, what it's done is expands the space, and the self starts to become prominent. It becomes like the shining light upon the character. It
shows that it's here.
Well, it does that, but it also I feel like it frees the chattering mind. It like as if, okay, that's going on, but there's something else that I can be lined up with and involved with, rather than just listening to the thoughts chattering away. So
And there's even a more, we're going to get off the discussion because I don't want to go too heavy into this. This is a whole program plus in itself. So we're going to draw it. But just not just for the character to be aware of the self, but the self is also experiencing itself as self. There is very important. And then we'll see the relationship, but just the character being aware of their self. I may have introduced it that way. I used the word over self. I don't know if I should have used that word. It's like, oh, this thing over here. When really the shift is from character and suddenly a different piece appearing, we're calling self. Anyway, let's get off this because I don't want to go too far.
okay.
Thank you. He brought it up because I gave him a homework assignment. Play with that for a bit. I need more input from different people on it. Anyway. Yes. Anything? Should we go over this? Okay. See, I hate to lay this shit out. You know why? Lawrence started it. He was saying, oh, I'm not that type. I'm this type. And that. I hate to lay anything out because that's what people do. You twist it, you turn it, you make a problem out of it. Come on, relax. Jesus. We can never come up with the right word. Probably never for anything. Easy. What's your experience? What's your flavor? But anyway, okay. So this style, now see, is that the right word? Style. Temporarily, this style. This is direct from Osensei. They seem to and have a little better relationship. Are those the right words? I don't know. Bear with me. Better relationship with self and space. Their sense of self and space apparently not bad. It's not bad. Okay. Now, Sensei suggested, because we brought up the problem of how to get these people to be more, have a fuller, deeper, stronger character. Okay. And he suggested if they work the core energy game in any form, but core energy. Now, careful, the self-space type are very damn smart. Good visionaries. That's not a put down. That's like you got to understand your style. So there'll be a tendency of, oh, yes, I know there's a core energy. I'm aware of it. Oh, yes, I know I have a body. I can see it and I can sort of feel it. Okay. But there are degrees of body presence. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about degrees. It's not like this type has no body, although pushing on this side of it, you've seen some people that really aren't sort of body present. Okay. They're the last thing from a jock you could ever imagine. Okay. You're kind of surprised they can walk down the stairs or tie their shoes. You know, you've bumped into somebody like this. They're not quite at home in the body. To talk to them, you got to sort of look around and talk to them because they're not here a certain way. Now, that's the extreme. The percentages are fantastic of body presence. You could even have some good athletes of the style who have a pretty good body presence. Okay. Jack is of this style. He's got a pretty good body presence, Jack Water. Okay. Should I tell the story of O again? O, very famous in Japan. The top hitter, or really the top baseball hitter in the world. Okay. In his early professional years, I don't have his history memorized, so I'll get to it as close as I can. He was becoming the strikeout king. This guy who had so much potential. I guess in college he had potential and wherever he had potential, and they bring him into the big leagues. And very soon here, he's the strikeout king. Okay. his batting coach was an Aikido guy when I was training. I was trained in the morning classes. And his batting coach brought him to Osensei and said, we got a problem here. And Osensei said, well, he's a little fast. See, these guys are fast. They're they can see, they're good visionaries. They're fast. But him being fast was striking too soon, whatever, too eager, striking out. So Osensei suggested that he stand on one foot. What he was getting him to do was to get deeper into the character. I'm calling that a core. Sensei's approach, best I can understand, was in him getting deeper rooted. Of course, the core was showing that it was there and mixing up a better batter till after a bit, worked with this very diligently. His coach helped him very diligently. Finally reached a level where, boom, the character was much more full and the lineup of the self-space thing, everything was more in order. He was the champion. He was the master hitter. Well, Sensei was kind of proud of him. Okay, so he wasn't an Aikidoist, but he really developed through the process. Okay. So did I say anything intelligent, Brad? Did I say anything? Yes? Brad gave me the okay. So we're just saying there are degrees. So these guys, I'm not putting them down, but apparently they need a little more character work, actually present. Okay. I would suggest as the character gets better through whatever form of core energy you're doing, whether you're using a balance or a left-right arm movement, whatever, touching middle, and the next level, the deeper level. And again, be careful. You guys are smart. You're fast. To double check the here of it. Core is here. An experience of here, the deeper of here, the deeper sense of longer legs into the ground and a sense of going for roots. Not just, roots. Yes, I can spell roots. You see, that's just a little bit of tendency because they've got a lot of years or maybe lifetimes in that style. Okay. But to develop the character, okay, then I suggest as you progress, that in getting a more developed character, that you double check that the space is here and the self is here. So you get this nice lineup, this overlay of character, space, self, whatever words, however you want to call that. Did I lose myself? Did I lose you? Where are we here? Okay. Then whatever next begins to show for you could be the qualities that are there, want to show more to enhance the character more. It might be the fuller of the center circle beats want to show even more, that there's another fantastic level, dimensionally speaking, of the beats. The self experiencing itself will want to experience the more of itself. That'll be there. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's what I would suggest on after any decent practice, that sort of sense of those being lined up. Character, better space, better self is present. Okay. Again, it's best the experience of all of that as you can. Look, I'm exhausting myself here. Anything so far? Don't want to lose you too far on that. Anything on
Yes,
that I garbled out there? Yeah.
real quick. I've been for quite a while, as I've mentioned the last couple of sessions, had some pleasure working with the field of character, core and field of character, and easing the eye and being present and available through character. But I've noticed, as I may have expressed to you, and we could maybe explore this in more detail when I see you, that of course, space is a huge component. Accessing field immediately is great, but maybe there's not enough space to accommodate the radiant field of the character, depending on what's coming up at that level. Feel good, but not great.
Yeah.
Space. So jumping to field or character, like you said, open the stage and let's see what presents. But having that space to facilitate the other components is really, really critical.
They're all trying to relate with each other. I don't have my notebook with me, but I wrote a phrase like something like all the components in your entire system are saying we're in this together. And we have to develop or upgrade or do the journey together. Yeah. So yes, space. And in more space, what? If you're on a character lineage, then it should be, Robert, who has a little more room and whatever than Bobby. Or you move into a space and you're checking what? Maybe qualities? It's not a space, it's a fair day space. Well, so yeah. So all along the way, some sense of space. You don't have to go crazy with space, but just a sense of it, Okay. You want to keep things in the here and now, so don't you float off too far. Don't you be a space cadet. That's not the way I'm tripping. Okay. Okay. Anybody, anything before we move on here a bit? Is that sort of maybe clear? Yeah.
Just one thing, Bob, just in terms of the drawing,
Huh?
just curious, because my sense would be that that circle of the self and the circle of space would be
In a perfect world, and you had a perfect artist over here, it would be. Leave me alone.
Okay, just checking.
There's no right word. And if Nadeau is involved with this, there's no right drawing.
I thought it was Katja that.
I know, but she takes orders from me sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And that's the best I could come up with.
Okay.
I mulled on it. I worried about it because I knew guys like you would jump in. I get a lot of heartburn before this show. You think you're Jewish? Hey.
Well, Catholic guilt is probably just as good.
Oh, horrible. Anyway, let's not get into guilt.
Okay.
Okay. Are we okay so far? I'll move on. Yeah. Okay. This other style. Katja's checking me out. Her name was used in vain, I think. No, it's fine, Katja. We all love you.
Okay, at least one.
Get away. Interfering with my show. This one here. Okay. Let's say more natural tendency with the body. Now, just as generally speaking, never hold me 100% to this stuff. Okay, but generally speaking, pretty good in the body from the get-go. Okay. Get into body training very readily, very early, usually move along very well. And I think so, since as a young kid being dragged to the sumo match on the beach, yelling and screaming, they kicked his ass because he's the skinniest, sickest kid in town. Okay. But he catches on to a development process. Okay. Catches on to, let's say, a centered core beat. And that energy there starts to develop him. So pretty quick, he developed, surprisingly quick. He shocked everybody in town who knew what he was, how he was born. He probably was very, very premature also. Give an idea of his. And he caught on to something here with this improve the body center, Boom. The radiating there in Japanese, believe the Hara effect. Okay. Developed up a storm. Okay. By the time he's a young teenager, he's doing feats of strength, okay. So that type would have a little tendency. He didn't at first have that tendency, he had to be dragged there, but then he shifted to survive. Okay. Now, what do those type have to do? Yes, continue to improve the character. And also, we're going to speed things up. Don't forget the character is in a situation. And in a situation helps develop the character. There's a relationship. Circle to center, center to circle. Okay. Now, this type at first may not be that aware of the situation. Let's see. In my earlier days, I'm not very social. Okay. Right. Circle things sort of. I never played team sports. Every sport I played, everything I practiced was solo. Okay. Even though I could heave a football pretty good and stuff like that, I could never get into team sports. That would have meant a little more association with a circle. I had my own circle, our little gang. But anyway, so us type, those type. Center to circle. Circle is the world you're in, the situation to center, center to circle, and that they trigger each other. Okay. We're okay with that basic, right? The continuation of character, Bobby, Robert, Nadeau, however you want to dialogue that. Okay. Hopefully there'll come a point where your character level is improving. Okay. And of course, you're in more space. When you go from Bobby to Robert, you have a sense of a little more room. Okay. If I really box myself in to become a horrible Bobby, it's like how much room I have. Okay. Easy the eye. Let go of that weird guy. Easy. Trade it in, easy. And suddenly there's more room here. It just is. So more space is simple. It just is. Okay, now, hopefully, as the characters improve, now this is going to vary as to different people, but some people are going to say something else here, or something will catch their attention, and this could be self presenting itself, saying, hey, I'm here. I've always been here, but you never noticed me. Okay, so we get character, acknowledging space, hopefully at a finer level of character, self begins to show. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed. I think there has to be some calling for self, some desire to trade in for something. I'll try to come up with better words for that, but it doesn't mean because a guy is a really powerful character that he's got a self. We don't know that. We've seen a lot of guys not want to do any kind of trading because they have a lot of power, a lot of fame, a lot of capability, and they're afraid of trading that in for something that's not clear to them called a self. Okay. Did I say that okay, Bob? You're muted. Huh?
Sorry about that. Yes, that was very clear. And the main thing is that no matter how good your character is, self is not guaranteed. It's something you have to pay attention to and develop.
Yeah, I'm not sure what more to say about that. We'll fine tune that in the future because again, I'm very interested in the self to character thing that Steve was talking about there. Okay. Then
Sensei, may I
alliance-
jump in?
who that?
This is Sean.
Sean. Yes, Sean.
Yeah. I had this sense that when you talk about character,
Mm.
it's like an octave up or down. And then it's also like a distinct color. And you're being under your tutelage, being under your observation, you distinguish very carefully, very clearly when my color hue is off. It's not yellow, it's yellow green or whatever it might be. And it's a sense of humility. You're calling to question my authenticity in degrees, my degrees of delusion. And I am so grateful to be in your presence so often.
And I would suggest
Yep.
that we continue with this core work
You got it.
and here for the development. If we don't have the core actual, you use the word delusional,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what this guy can do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. I understand.
This guy who's feeling, boom, being there. Excuse me, I'm a macho type guy. Boom, he's not delusional. I can take a 10-pound fighter, but I can't take a 20-pound fighter. I can feel it. I know it's true.
Yeah.
I can take anybody.
Yeah.
Because I did 6 weeks of Aikido. Total insanity. Anyway, thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Where are we here? Okay, so dimensionality, Bobby to Robert to Nadeau, whatever words you want to use for that. Hopefully, you bump into a self or you can yell out for it. Okay, so again, a story. When I was practicing cutting my wrist and dying on my couch in Tokyo, I wasn't going for a better level of character. In cutting my wrist, I was passing on a finer character. I was just dying out. Okay, I forget how I was setting that up, but I was doing that. And that facilitated for me self-showing, because I guess I was doing something like, well, there's no more character. He's dead. Okay, what's going on? Is there anything going on? Eventually, self showed. Okay. So you have to find your own way to tap self. Maybe for you, it's easy. Just call it boom, or you don't have to do much except settle a bit, open a bit, and it shows its presence. Good for you. Okay. Okay, where are we here? So, space, character, self. And then I'll pause there and say, and then whatever else next begins to show. Will it be qualities? Want to show the more qualities that are there for you? The finer of your qualities? Does it want to show that the beats are really bigger than you've imagined, in the sense that it's not just a beat of Bobby in his world and his world to Bobby? Yeah, that's cool. That's great. But there's a more original set of beats. And whatever you pick up at that level, great. And the damn thing will double up again. There's a more original set of beats. So be prepared for a double up. Am I saying that okay? Is that coming across? Double up? Yeah. The sort of working your way through creation, you'll bump into a lot of those. Or at least I did. Yeah. You think, hey, I got it all. What a big piece. And then suddenly it's like, yeah, but what if this piece is just the first piece? And there's another whole second piece. It's like, oh my God, a double up. And you got to hang out and catch it. So anyway, double up. I garbled my way through that one. Any comment on that one? What did I miss?
Sensei Bob here.
Oh,
The thing about your kind of alerting us, so to speak, to the double up is if you don't know what it is, it can seem like it's going to mess up what you've already accomplished.
good point. Good point. Good point. So let's bring up the old sensei story that we used. Got a damn good center. He's good. He finishes his training with Takeda. He's got this center thing down good, the warrior. Of course, he's aware of the circle and the world around him a bit. He's noticing things. But he feels like he's missing something or there's not enough. For whatever reason, he gets drawn to Deguchi. Okay, Deguchi says, whoa, you're a hell of a warrior, but you can't just continue doing that. That's not really your trip. And he introduces him to a big circle. Okay. And as you're saying, and in trying to catch on or let go of the centered guy for the circled flavor, was not easy for him. Okay? He said the only reason he hung out was he trusted Deguchi, because Deguchi put him through a lot of little trials and set things up to where he couldn't be the killer martial art teacher. You have to shift and just major in how the circle stuff works and who are you in the circle, not being the martial art guy. Okay, so that's a double up right there. Yeah, he thought he had it all, and he was aware of a bit of circle. Suddenly, oh no, that's not the major circle here. At this level, boom, there's a major circle here. Boom, at this level. Okay. Okay, so far, people?
Sensei, if I could jump
Yes.
into this interesting discussion. Prior to meeting Onisaburo Deguchi, from the time he changed as a teenager until then, all the descriptions of O-sensei are him emerging as a leader,
Yes, yes.
him emerging
Yeah.
as the one to
He-
go to in the
Yeah.
Sino-Japanese War. The
Those
squad
were
leader,
other, yes,
send
Yes.
the top sergeant to get it done, or then going to Hokkaido and
Mhm.
being
being
elected.
a leader. He was the king when they get the title, the king of whatever there.
He was certainly the mayor, the person that
Yeah.
everybody, counted on for figuring
Yeah.
things out.
Yeah.
And then.
Hey,
he
hold
met-
it, hold it.
Okay.
Those were the things he was catching on to as he was developing, becoming an adult,
Yes.
that he had these capabilities. Okay. But
Right.
that size circle is not the size circle that Deguchi is going to
Yes.
send him to.
And
Go ahead.
just to follow this thread, then he met Akeda, Daito Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, actual like old style killer martial artist who taught him, and even more of that, and even more. And then the story goes, he gets a note, he has to return.
Okay.
His father is dying, and he meets Onisaburo on the way. And Onisaburo said, "Come pray at my shrine." and he diverts. He does that. His father dies. And from that point forward, what you described as Onisaburo's circle mentality turned Morihei Ueshiba into a follower. He followed him, his guidance. He followed
Because the big circle was a new presentation, the big circle.
But
So, yeah.
he followed him to outer Mongolia, right? He followed him literally to the ends of the earth and almost was killed,
Mhm.
and then followed him home and reemerged after that as the O-sensei, you know, that we know that you met, that you studied with.
Yeah.
And so
And
this,
hold it there. Hold
Yes.
it. You're wrong.
no?
He goes to Iwama.
Mm,
Now he gets hit with a major
mhm,
that almost destroys him.
mhm,
Now this and another double up. Aha!
mm, mm, mm.
He's not finished yet.
So this was his vision when he was in Iwama, combined with his methodical study, once again going back to like beginner's mind right during the war when all hell was breaking loose. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so but the point I wanted that I noticed is that here was somebody who was building up, just as you say, center, accomplishment, capability, leader, who himself was confronted with something he couldn't compute, and became a follower,
Okay.
and grew through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this
And
change-
that brought him to Iwama eventually,
yes.
where he got hit heavy duty. Next.
Next.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I can't imagine the pressures. I mean, he tries to tell us, he says, I almost died with that because I was refuting what was happening. Yeah. The pressures must have been fantastic.
Right. You know, but from the time time he came back from Mongolia and sort of started to become a renowned teacher and attract famous influential people, and you know, developed his first dojos in Tokyo, until Iwama, there was, you know, enormous refinement. But I agree, there was an enormous change in Iwama, that yet another level.
Yeah, even all the old teachers would mention that, don't you? Didn't you ever hear from the old teachers where we liked those sensei pre-war?
I heard from Hikizuchi directly that there was a big change.
Yeah.
A big change.
And some people liked him better, his martial art better pre. That as it was changing there, they weren't sure about it. Anyway.
And that the change, the difference was less physical, more ki, is how it was described to me.
Yeah. Well,
Even more sensitivity. So anyway.
remember about the time what level O Sensei is at. Yeah. You know. Anyway, blah blah. Thank you. I'm a follower of O Sensei. I kind of like his patterns, but it's also his words. I have to find my own words. Where he gives me a heads up is when he tells me at this stage, this was happening and it really upset me. Then I'm prepped that if I hit a similar stage, I'll be upset by something. So but I don't try to get upset the way he was or get the exact images he got. I'm not going to get them. Those are his. I have mine. You have yours. Okay. So if I say at this level of breathing, you'll feel nice. Well, you may not feel nice. You may feel calmer. You may feel more aware. You may feel condescending, whatever. Your words may not quite be the same, but we'll probably be in close proximity. Yeah. Yeah. Well, since they warned me more than once to not try to, mimic him. I'm me and he's he. But I can. But his lineup, his design, his sense of the design, is damn good. I think it was I think he did fantastic work with this basic design of creation. That I like, and that I'm trying to follow. Okay. But if he says golden bridge and I don't see a golden bridge, I'm not going to bullshit one or make one up. Mine is different. Mine is different. Okay. Maybe some others get golden bridge. I don't know. But there should be something that clues you in for that. But be careful of learning a word that the master said and bullshitting it, which unfortunately happens a lot. We're on a tangent. Okay. Where are we? Somebody jump in. I got all lost here.
Sean here again. I just wanted to say that seeing you as often as I do is not lost upon me. And I feel as if that's the key in this message is some sense of accountability. I don't know, maybe some people have that naturally, but I don't. And I appreciate the finesse in which you nudge me. And I'm deeply appreciative.
Okay. Yeah, fine. I do what I do, whether you appreciate it or not. I do what I do. Okay. If you appreciate it, great. If you don't, screw you. I do what I do. C'est moi. All right. Right, Diana? I do what I do. Always have, always will.
Always have, always will.
Sensei, this is Justin. I appreciate what Sean shared. It's sometimes in nudging me, it's also with finesse, and sometimes I'm sure with everybody, very direct. And I appreciate all of it. But the accountability thing is something I really want to mention, because we get to hold ourselves accountable and sort of pump the pump, like you said. Let's give it the, what'd you call it once, the law of fives or something. Let's sit with it for a pump or two or three to really not fool ourselves into thinking we have, I don't know, it's enough space or we're centered or grounded, rooted. Really, let's take it into the gym of the creation, test it out 3, 4, 5 times to really be sure we're on, have something, or tangible to work with.
Experience. Remember that maybe the culture here, especially, but all over the world, getting faster. I hit my TV and I get pissed off when that movie doesn't kick on in 1 second. Shouldn't it? Something must be wrong with my TV. Or the people driving, you're in my way. I want to be there right now. We didn't have too much of that in the buggy days, did we? I don't think so. Anyway, so to spend time experiencing, to soak in it, to not lay a trip on it and know if you're laying a trip on it, to let it unfold. I don't know how to express to people honesty, because they can say, oh, yes, I'm honest, and be liars up the cadoodle. I don't know how to express it, but in your own work, it's nice if you were honest, easy. If you're not sure, I sort of make a note to myself wherever I'm at in this space work. I'm not sure. Let's see. And then I continue. And if I'm finished after whatever time I put into that one, if I'm still not sure, I'll say, we'll see. If it's important, it'll come back at me again soon and clarify a bit more. But honesty. Not like, well, I gave it an hour, therefore I'm going to leave with something. So whatever I say is what I experience. It's like, really? Really? Are you honest? So I don't know how to express what honesty is. Either, I don't know, you got it or you don't. I don't know what to say. Change the subject. So, be a short session tonight. Anybody? You got the floor.
Sensei Bob here
Yeah.
again.
Go.
You've talked several times tonight about the core and the importance of the core. And it seems to me that one benefit of the core is related to something you talk about regularly, which is make sure it's experiential and not awareness.
Yeah.
And the core may help with that.
Yeah, that's been nagging on me. A lot of things have been nagging on me lately. Getting busy here. But the exercise, can we call it, of core, whether you're doing a shaking core or an in-out beat core or whatever style, okay, anything in harmony, okay, should reference core. Okay. I think we ought to someday just play with that, the actual experiential exercise of it. I know people learn certain things in Aikido or whatever. Move the hands this way and exhale, and then acknowledge there's a tummy. But I'm not sure if the actual aliveness of the core is there for all those folks. I would like to play and maybe present I don't know, maybe a little more of the experiential exercise of core. Okay. It's kind of like, if you know too much, it's maybe like reading day after day in the papers and magazines the importance of going for a walk for your health. Okay. Now, what if you read all of those articles, understand why it's good for you, your system, mental and physical, to go for a walk, but you never really go for a walk. You do a nado and you sit there like a fool all day. Nothing's going to happen because I know all this stuff about walking. I've got to actually walk to get, quote, these benefits. So it's the same thing. If we're just sort of knowing too much about this energy stuff, but we're not fuller into the experience of it, we might be not walking. I'm losing myself here. We have room, Brett. Can you come over here and stand? I just need your right arm. You're the target here. Okay. Settle. Help me out. Real fast. Easy, easy. There's a core energy emanating. Go ahead. Emanate. Why is it stopping?
Yeah.
Do a raise. I'm sorry, raise.
Always.
Okay. Too much pressure in the shoulder. Good. But it's getting stuck there a little bit. Easy. Better core. Radiate. Oh, that's better. That's better. Yeah. And could be even better. Not bad, but still a little slow here and there, but better. Easy, easy. Core. Go ahead. And raise. Yeah. Okay. I kind of knew that one was going to be better because I could feel, could feel a radiation from his center that I didn't feel on the first two. I could actually feel this little glow. Interesting. Thank you. So I like to test people when we're doing stuff like that, to have a simple test to see if it's an actual presence of the glow, the flow, the radiation, find your own word, of core energy. Okay. I think that's all I'm talking about right now. To make sure we're exercising better or properly with it. Is that okay? Let me play and come back on you another day. Boy, we're going to have an early night tonight. Anybody, anything, or I'm going to go back out on my porch.
Sensei, Chris here from New Zealand. I just
Chris?
yeah.
Okay.
I guess a huge part of my journey at the moment is that word experience. I know we talked about it quite a bit over the years, and how much that's shifted in my journey, my Aikido life, experiencing each moment, and shifting it into everything. So anything, just taking a moment, a breath, going through the process and adapting it into work, and life in general has been amazing. And then sort of experiencing it there's a different energy to it than just feeling. The awareness, it shifts into an experience, has a huge, it's got its own dimensionality really to it as well, hasn't it? And you start to experience moments so much different, and I never try to hang on to it, but just appreciate the experience of those moments, never try and regain them back. And that's when it helps me recognize that I'm on a good path. Those sort of feelings come back up, those essences come back up.
Now, let's draw a little line between, experiencing the body, the situation, the here and now of stuff, the reactions of those around you, whatever. Yes. Now, what I'm push, and that's not wrong. That's fine. Great. Yes. Is this inner meditation space when things show, to experience this inner, to be experiencing that's inner. It's very subtle or very fine or very refined, but it's that same sense of experience. Yeah.
The word experience almost doesn't justify it again.
Dan, is there any right words for anything?
I got you. I hear your pain.
But you do the best you can, And I would trust you a little bit more if you have a actual physical experience, that if you're inner meditating and something's there and you experience what it's experiencing, I'd have a more tendency to trust you because you were pretty good at an obvious experience. So unless you say, okay, but now this is different, this is spiritual. But it still is experiencing itself, whatever. Self-experiences itself. The qualities have a sense of themselves, whatever. Yeah. So
there is always a feeling for me that there's the experience is inquisitive. It wants to grow. It wants to carry on. It wants to open up as well. The experience almost wants to open. it's almost another quality in itself that really it becomes alive.
The 2 beat I use there, let me see, whatever it is, okay? Could be a quality, whatever, inner, finer. Experiencing itself, it is aware of itself. Aware of itself, it experiences itself. So that's its 2 beats for harmony, which will bring it to, my word, doorway to the next level of it. All right. So I love the 2-word usage. Yeah. It's in a certain way important, because it reps for the harmony there.
It's been an amazing journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I can't see everybody's face. Diana, you got anything intelligent to say?
Probably not. Late here.
Oh, that's right. We're past your bedtime. Sorry. But I'll quit early tonight. You can go to bed.
Sensei, it's Gina.
Gina. Yes, Gina.
So when I'm investigating core,
Mhm.
it feels great, but it feels like it's another separate piece. Is core, it's like self have its core and space has its core, or is core
Well, they're
feels
all
so good to be
energy.
in core that it's like its own.
Let's see. I don't know. Look at it like a separate piece. I should know this, but you got me here.
Ooh.
I don't know. It's all energy. So any piece has its own energy set. Okay. Could we say on this 2 beat, energy goes out and begins to fade. I'm getting tired. Downtime, in time, easy. Boom, touches it again, and boom, there's a bit more. Naturally. And it goes out, and boom, I can work for an hour till I get exhausted, and I take it easy. Back to a core. So that each beat, potentially, not that it has to be each beat, but it's a better doorway, brings you into a finer dimension of that field of energy. Say it that way. Does that make any sense to you yet?
Makes sense, but like, can it lead you into a
I
bigger?
I don't think I want to keep it as a separate piece. That jars me a little bit. We
Okay.
got enough pieces.
I thought, but
But it has a placement. I don't know. I'm liking the word battery lately. I think in my closet, I have a little battery that will run my smoke alarm for a while. But that battery won't start my damn car. Okay? I have to buy a 6-volt battery that enough juice emanates or is present that my car starts. Okay. And their batteries are a bit better than the normal battery. I can't remember the name now. But if you have to leave your car parked for a long time, a couple of months or something, there are certain batteries that will probably kick over after that time. They won't go dead. They have a long, long life. So there's even better batteries or source of life force. Yeah, anyway, I don't think we should look at it as a separate piece. We have enough problems. I don't think that'll help us any. But just that it's that a sense of a core, finer core, bigger core. Eventually I get bored with core and like field. It's a more fuller field. Okay. That something like that. Caught me, Gina. Leave me alone.
Me?
Yeah.
God.
The Maui people surviving okay? Or is it still pretty bitchy, I'm sure, but
It's awful. It's just
Okay.
awful.
yeah. There'll be a slow comeback, huh?
Very. They're
Yeah.
just annihilated.
That's a life. Okay, people. I've rambled enough. Oh, San Francisco dojo, Aikido, the 24th. Is that next Sunday? I believe it's next Sunday, 1:00, San Francisco dojo. If you're all excited about that.
Thank you, Sensei.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, people, for hanging in there. Catch you. What's our next date, Lauren?
Our next date is the first Friday of October, the 6th.
We get a bit of a break here. Good, because a lot of stuff is coming at me. I really need time to play. Whew.
October
you.
6th.
Thank you, Sensei. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Sensei.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Sensei.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Lauren.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
everyone.
Sensei.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Lauren.
Thanks, Lauren.